Hello everybody and welcome to another Dakman Productions review. Today we'll be reviewing the brand new Lionel Legacy C44-9W in the Norfolk Southern road name. This is a very special Norfolk Southern locomotive, so stay tuned for more details and facts. And speaking of which, I would like to mention that I will be mixing in some facts and some of my opinions in this video. I would like to give a shout out to Sterling Callahan, Ravenhawk 6910 on YouTube. He helped me put together the details and facts about this particular model. I have been watching his channel and I like the way he does his reviews. Dakman Productions mainly focuses on bringing train shows to the audience. Going to club meets and stuff like that. I mean, I've done reviews, but normally I don't get too in-depth with them, but I asked for his help on this one. He does a great job on reviews, so make sure you check out his channel, and he also does rail fanning as well. Ravenhawk 6910. And what I'm going to discuss with you with this part are the facts that he helped put together for me. So before we get started on what Ravenhawk put together for me, this is a Lionel Legacy. It does have Bluetooth. Has Legacy sounds, of course, fan-driven smoke, electric couplers. The first thing I noticed is on the box it's stamped 036 minimum curve. I'm not really sure if this locomotive would really work on 036 curve, and the reason why I'm saying that is because usually with 036 curves you get one axle that doesn't have flanges or is not flanged. But on this particular model, all the axles have flanges on them. This leads me to believe that this model probably should really be running on 054 curves, but again, that's my own opinion. I don't have 036 track to prove this, but in past experience, when I had 042 track, I couldn't get non-flanged Lionel locomotives to run on it. So I went from 042 to 054, and then I was able to run the Lionel Legacy locomotives that have all flanged axles. So I would check that part out before I would spend the $500 that this thing costs, only to find out it really doesn't operate on 036, so I'm not sure about that part. The other thing is, on the box, Lionel mentions that this is a C44-9W. We will discuss that a little bit further here in a couple more minutes. So, I would like to thank Nicholas Smith for giving me a good deal. Here's a picture of Nicholas Smith right here. So, currently they are open. But they are limiting the amount of people who are allowed inside. But when I bought this locomotive, it was sitting in the display case. Well, I actually seen it online, and I really liked it a lot. So I wanted to see this thing in person, because I know Lionel didn't get the red quite right on a couple of their models, unfortunately. One of them being the Norfolk Southern Veterans Unit. There was a lot of complaints, and I could see why. But they had this particular locomotive in the display case, and I was hooked on it instantly. I mean, Lionel got this thing 100% on the color. Everything just pops on this, and we'll take a closer look here in a moment. But I really fell in love with this thing instantly. Everything about it. The first thing the store manager said, his name's Joey, he warned me. He says, when you pull this out of the box, please make sure you either let it fall out of the box or have a second pair of hands to make sure that the trucks do not turn while you're pulling it out. This was so well packed into the foam that if you try to pull this thing out and you're not paying attention, the trucks will turn. The problem with that is, Lionel does have moving pallets, so the trucks turn so much that what will happen is the steps will get fetched up inside of the styrofoam and they will break off. And he mentioned this a couple times, warning me about that fact. So I do appreciate the heads up, so I made sure that I carefully removed this thing, paying attention, making sure the trucks were straight coming out of the styrofoam. So I did want to mention that same warning to you guys as well, so you're aware of that fact. So we're going to move forward with the information that Ravenhawk6910 put together for me for this review, and I really appreciate his help on this. And the real engine, or the real version of this, was selected to be a prototype for the C44-9W rebuilds. They had a contractor design an AC traction compartment that was made in line with the body of the Dash 9. If you look at the area photos of the real version under the air conditioner, there are extra grills for that AC traction compartment. The company that designed the parts also chose the red that NS used with the lines of the horsebonnet scheme. After the rebuild, Norfolk Southern actually called the unit an AC44C6 VCF. And if you take a look on the cab, and I will move this around here, you will actually see that designation that Ravenhawk had mentioned. So, although on the box is labeled C44-9W, the locomotive does have the proper rebuild model number on it. So, this is a plus, and I wanted to show you guys that. There we go. So 8520 was used on several test runs on both Norfolk Southern and the Western New York and Pennsylvania, work alongside with Alco Century series engines. Usually on those trips, and Norfolk Southern C40-8 5W rebuild would also be with it. However, the tests were a failure and no other units were made. The choice instead was just to turn all the Dash 9s into AC 44C6Ms instead, as it was a tried and tested design that worked. Ravenhawk also mentions the catalog. The Lionel catalog shows it has a nose-mounted headlight, but the model has the correct top-mounted headlight. So we'll take a look at that as well. So Ravenhawk mentions the Lionel catalog shows the headlight being in the nose, but the model itself does have the correct top-mounted headlights. So one of my questions to Ravenhawk is, does Norfolk Southern still have this, and do they still use it? He says that it was still around, but in storage at Altoona, and likely maybe converted to an AC44C6M eventually. So, once again, appreciate the Ravenhawk 6910 helping me with this factual part of the review. So now we're going to go ahead and look at this thing a little bit more closer. And I'll try to get it in some better lighting as well. So we're looking at the side shot of this Lionel Legacy -9 rebuild. And one of the things that Ravenhawk also mentions is that these locomotives, a lot of rail fans call them the horse bonnet or horse bonnet paint scheme, because of the lines that are made on this locomotive. And he said something that was pretty interesting that I would have never have known or noticed. But he says the lines that were painted on a locomotive will actually match the mane of the horse logo. So we will zoom in on that. So he said on the real version, these lines will actually match the lines on the mane of the horse logo. So that was another cool thing that he did mention to me, and I figured I would talk about that to you guys as well. I have not run this even as of yet, so I'm going to program this thing and we'll put it on the track. But before I do want to take a look at the front and rear of this, so I'm going to bring it out into some better lighting. Alright, so here's the front of the locomotive. As Ravenhawk mentions, in the Lionel catalog, it showed that it had the nose-mounted headlight. But the model does come through with the correct top-mounted headlight. I do like the, I like the chain. It does have some nice details to it. Let's get a closer look here. So you can see the yellow grab rails and the ditch lights and the chain here. It's just it's a very nicely detailed locomotive here, and we'll move in to see the light boards and the windshield wipers and the other details as well. I mean, Lionel did a very nice job on this. And I can tell you, I'm pretty critical about certain things when spending a lot of money like this. But this model is definitely not toy-like. It is not like a toy at all. It definitely looks like a model. You know, it's very, very well detailed. The paint's not toyish like at all. So they did a very good job on this, and then once again, I wanted to see this in person before I bought it, only because of what Lionel did on the Norfolk Southern Veterans locomotive. Yeah, it's a beautiful, well done locomotive. It's got electric magnet or electric couplers, and yes, it has. I'm not sure. Most of my fans ask me, can I explain if it can be converted to 2-reel or 3-reel? I'm not sure on the locomotives, but when I do my reviews on the rolling stock, I'll try and mention that. So I don't know if Lionel makes this so you can convert it over to 2-reel or not. This is also, I forgot to mention, a built-to-order locomotive, which means you know, they only build a certain amount, so if they only have orders for a certain amount, that's all they make. So if this is something that you're wanting to get or thinking about getting, maybe you should. Alright, let's program this train and fire it up. Alright, so we got the Lionel Norfolk Southern red bonnet all programmed and ready to roll. We'll go through some key features here. So the first thing I do is I'm going to actually do the startup sequence. So here we go.
This is the dispatcher. Do you copy? Roger that, dispatcher. I read you. Over. Hold for track orders. Over. Yes, sir. Start up and stand by. Out.
Alright, so just like with any Legacy, you can control the volume. So when you're changing the volume, that's what you're going to hear. That's the bell. There's a couple ditch light options where you can leave them off and pulse on, or you can leave them off altogether, or you can have them on and they won't pulse. So there's a couple different options there you can do. I won't be running the fan-driven smoke for this video. Maybe some other time. So let's do some cab chatter.
Dispatcher, trains buckled together. Can I get to the main line? Over. Clear to proceed east from where you stand at track speed. Over. I copy. Thanks, dispatcher. Out. This is the operator. You are clear to depart on your cab signal indication. Over. I copy. Thanks, dispatcher. Out. This is the yard office. Please hold at your location. Over. I copy, dispatcher. Out. Dispatcher, I got a pull to make schedule. Can I roll? Over. Hold at the signal. Over. Roger that. Standing by. Out. This is the operator. You are clear to depart on your cab signal indication. Over. Thank you, sir. Clear to pull. Out.
So we did a little bit of cab chatter, moving around. I will say that the Locomotive does have different cab chatter than previous Lionel locomotives I bought. It has different voices in it. I love the horn on it. This is the first time I'm running it actually for this review video, so I'm listening to it for the first time just like you guys are. I'm pretty happy with it. So let's put a train on it. Okay, we're back, and I put my unit tank train behind this dash line, which is what I was intending on doing with it anyway. Was running a unit tank train. By the way, Lionel does offer a oil tank train set, which is headed by a BNSF ES44AC. And it features 4 TILX white tank cars and 2 BNSF hopper cars, which are actually marked properly buffer service, which I haven't done on one of mine yet, but I opted not to buy that set and build my own unit tank train. Instead of having all oil or all ethanol, I wanted to mix the tank cars to make it a little bit more exciting. So we're going to go ahead and pull train this Lionel Norfolk Southern red bonnet horse bonnet locomotive. Here we go.
This is the dispatcher. Do you copy? Roger that, dispatcher. I read you. Over. Hold for track orders. Over. Copy that. Let's get to work. Out. This is the operator. You're clear to proceed east. Over. Roger that. Cleared outbound. Out.
And I hope you enjoyed another Dakman Productions review. And I will be shooting video of this running, a more lengthier video. And then it will double head with my Norfolk Southern Continental Heritage unit. Thanks for joining Dakman Productions. Thanks for subscribing, and see you guys later.